Alright, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Tonight, this stream is gonna be all about doing some goop hunting. We're gonna be looking to cut down some players in Arc Raiders. We're also gonna be talking about cars tonight. Something you guys probably didn't know about me. I'm a huge gearhead. You know, I've had a couple of cool cars, and yeah, so we're gonna talk about cars. Freaking in the comment section down below, throw in there what your favorite car is. Myself, I've owned two Dodge Challenger Scat Packs. I've had a Mustang GT, a Camaro SS, and then I have a few people that I know that own Hellcats and things like that. So huge gearhead. So that's going to be the topic of tonight. But yeah, without further ado, let's freaking get into it. Let's take a look and see who's online. Okay, not a whole lot of people. Alright, here we go. Stella Montes, we're gonna rock Stella. So, for me, back in 2021, I got into the whole like car scene when I got my first Dodge Challenger. It was like a orange go mango color, and it was the 5.7 Hemi with a shaker. It was really cool, and man, that thing was fun. It definitely had the looks and everything, but I got this itch when I was there at the dealership. I saw a couple of the Scat Packs just sitting in there, and they had this one that also was a shaker, and it had the like shakedown graphics going from the back to the front, with the bumblebee stripe on the back, and it really looked awesome. And the point where I screwed up right when I was in the showroom is I ended up taking that thing for a ride, of course, and from that point forward, I had this itch because, you know, if you guys don't know, the Challenger Scat Pack has 485 horsepower, and your RT has about 85 less horsepower than that. So I got that itch for horsepower when I test drove that thing, and then from there, like, I was pretty much screwed, because after that, like, I kept noticing them when I was riding around, and I was like, man, I gotta get me one of those. And my dad, he also had a Dodge at the time. And I was telling him about the Scat Packs and how awesome they were. And he ended up like getting hooked on the idea as well. And so this really like set everything in as my dad. He ended up getting one, and I got to drive his car. Hey, what's up, Atomic? Appreciate you joining in. We're just doing some goop hunting, killing some Arc, talking about cars, man. What about you? What's your favorite car? But my dad, he ended up freaking... Damn, they're getting crazy in the lobby. Y'all hear that shit? But anyway, going on with my story, my dad, he ended up getting a Scat Pack Charger. And we took our cars down to the drag strip, and we'll just say that he smoked my ass. And after that, I was like, dude, I have to get one of these. So I was locked in from that point. And I took my RT in, like, oh shoot, it was probably like 3 months later, and I did a full swap, and I was like, all right, like, you know, get me in one of those. And so when I was at the dealership, they ran my credit and everything. There was a nice, beautiful, freaking Alpine green Scat Pack that was pre-owned. It was like 2 years old, like 40K. Where's this motherfucker at? But it was like 40K, and they obviously they ended up getting me approved for that thing. And so I got my first Scat Pack, and that thing was legit. So my dad ended up coming back down to visit me, and that thing was like, it was so much faster than the RT. It was a 6-speed manual, so he had an automatic in the Charger because that's the only way they come. And so me and him, we ended up racing again. You have to wait till Christmas? I got you. How are you doing, lovely? You thinking about a car as well? Shit. Let's trap him in there. Trap him in there. Hey, there we go. Now the shredder can't get me. But yeah, so that thing was a 6-speed manual. So me and my dad, we ended up going to drag race for our first time when he came down to visit. And this is kind of a funny story. So we go to this drag strip. It's like 5 o'clock, North Carolina. It's hot. Beautiful day, the sun's shining, and we're waiting in line behind all the other cars, and we end up lining up right next to each other, and we're lined up to go do our first race. And you know, I set everything up, get my line locks going and everything, and I'm going to do this first race with him. Granted, like I said, I have a 6-speed manual in this car. So we go to take off, and guess what happened? Throw in the comment section what y'all thought happened. That shit was fucking hilarious. What do y'all think happened? We're lined up, we're about to race at the drag strip. Damn, Stars have to kill me tonight. I don't see anybody. Oh. Alright, there we go. Well, anyway, what ended up happening is we go to launch, and of course, I ended up stalling that thing out. So I stall it out. Oh shit. Stall it out. So I'm sitting there at the line. My dad takes off. He's like a quarter of the way down the drag strip already. And then I end up getting it started, and I fucking take off. My face is red. Freaking, I look like a complete idiot. But that ended up happening, so of course we had to run it back. Should I go kill this guy? What do you think? But anyway, I ended up stalling that thing out. So we're running it back, right? Race is going, and I end up beating his ass on the second run. And dude, I'll tell you what, that was a hell of a feeling. Where's this dude at? That was a little save. Little save. So I ended up beating him on the second run. Because I got my shit set up right. I ended up taking off in second. And so this started a whole escapade of, like, you know, us getting into the whole Dodge brand for quite a while. And so then he comes up with the idea that he's like, all right, for the next race, I'm going to drive his Charger, and he's going to drive my 6-speed Scat Pack down the track. So we swap cars, and when I get in his car, I'm like taking a look over everything, kind of learning, you know, what's going on. I mean, it's not that much different, but it's a little different. And so I'm taking a look over everything, and I find out that his ass has heated and cooled seats. And I'm like hooked. I'm like, holy crap. Heated and cooled seats, like, let's go. This is awesome. You know, pretty new top of the line feature to me. And so, you know, we race. I ended up beating him with his car, which was hilarious. And I'm like, okay, like, I gotta get my hands on these heated and cooled seats. Because they're awesome. Like, so you can have your car set up so that basically, like, when you remote start from anywhere, it'll automatically turn them on and all that. And so I had that shit set up like that, and it was money because when you're doing all that racing and you got to put the windows up when you're drag racing, it gets real hot in there. So, you know, I'm in there sweating my ass off, right? Sweat's leaking down my face. We're sitting there at the tree, the light tree, and we're racing each other. And nice one, buddy. Nice one. So we're there, and we're at the light tree. I'm sweating my ass off, but in his car, he's got those cooled seats, and that was just next level. Cause like, instead of having like sweat going down my back and everything, freaking end up, you know, you're nice and cool, you know, on your back, which made racing great. And so that was like my whole Dodge experience there. And I ended up getting so stoked that his car had that I was like, man, like, you know, now I got to end up getting that. So I started my search again, which was crazy.